Thank you for all of the tangibles, Mr. Biden. I will be able to start a great life here in America. No problem. I want you to be able to live to have the American dream, my Ukrainian friend. I hope your life all works out for you. Mr. Biden, we voted for you in 2020. Why can't we get any tangibles? Tangibles? You don't deserve any tangibles. What you need to do is go out here and pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and get yourself a job. I'm really tired of you colored folks. You're always coming up here begging all the time. But you told us to take our booties to the poll and vote for you. I don't care what I told you to do. You just are so pathetic. You're always begging for something. Always begging for something. Get up off your ass and go get yourself a job. Man, we really messed up out here, man. I really wish we hadn't gone out here and voted for this joker.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.
President Joe Biden is going to allow 100,000 Ukrainian refugees to come into the United States. And this is the third group of non-citizen minorities who are going to be put in front of the line, in front of foundational Black Americans. Now, your foundational Black Americans, they were told that they had to go out here and take their booties to the poll in 2020 to get rid of the evil orange man. However, your foundational Black Americans have seen three minority groups cut in front of the line for tangibles and get tangibles instead of them. And that is an insult to all of those foundational Black Americans, citizens of this country, who went and took their booties to the poll to vote for your Joe Biden instead of him expressing gratitude to those foundational Black Americans. Back in December of 2020, he told all of these Black leaders he could do absolutely nothing for the Black community. However, your Joe Biden in the past 1.25 years has been able to get tangible resources for all of these non-citizens, meanwhile leaving communities of foundational Black citizens and foundational Black veterans who have served this country no sort of tangible resources as related to improving the quality of life for their own community. And it is an insult to watch as your Afghans got all of those tangibles, such as government grants and government programs to be able to open up businesses when the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan in mid-2021. And it was a bigger insult when we watched as illegal Mexican immigrants were allowed to get six-figure cash settlements as related to them being detained in ICE detention centers. And it is now an even bigger insult that your U.S. government can go out and find residency and resources for your 100,000 Ukrainians, in addition to going out here and spending $14 billion to send to the Ukraine and spend $200 million in weapons for the Ukrainian war that your Joe Biden, I believe, instigated. I find it interesting that your Joe Biden can find billions of dollars and resources that are tangible for your non-citizens, but the foundational Black Americans who went out here and gave him cities, counties, and even states with their Black votes, your Joe Biden can't do anything for. That is the ultimate form of contempt expressed towards the Black voter, and it shows how little your Joe Biden regards your Black voter. Now, your Joe Biden thinks so little of the Black vote that he doesn't even think he has to do anything for those groups that he desperately pandered to. And again, that is an expression of disrespect for the foundational Black American here. Because if it wasn't for your foundational Black American, he would not have gotten the White House, he wouldn't have gotten the Senate with the 2 Georgia Senate seats, and he would not have received the majority in the House. And all of that was due to the Black vote, But instead of expressing gratitude to those black voters, what your Joe Biden does is allow people to cut in front of the line, in front of the constituent voting bloc that has gone out here and consistently voted for him. And that disrespect needs to be dealt with by your black voter, because if a black voter cannot receive tangibles in exchange for our vote, then maybe we need to stop voting for this party. And that is the feeling and the logical reasoning many foundational black Americans are coming to after seeing the contempt expressed by your Joe Biden to the black voter. And we started to see a complete shift as related to the black vote in 2021 with the Virginia governor's race, the New Jersey governor's race, and even the race for the controller in Long Island here in New York. So a lot of people, black people are staying home because they are tired of having their votes taken for granted and watching as other groups who are not even citizens of this country, they can go out here and receive tangibles in exchange for their vote, but a foundational black American who is born a citizen here, their vote isn't valued by your Joe Biden and his political party, and it's time to punish this party for expressing its contempt for the foundational black American and the foundational black American vote by showing them that if you don't offer actual tangibles, you are not going to get any votes at all. And they don't deserve your vote, because if they can go out here and put non-citizens at the front of the line in front of you, then they don't deserve your vote because they do not respect you. And these symbolic gestures, like a black female Supreme Court justice or a John Lewis voting rights bill, these are not what foundational black Americans want in terms of tangibles. No, what we want in terms of tangibles is related to the black agenda, and that black agenda has items on it like reparations, like police reform, real police reform, not this handmade stuff made by these bootlicks and shills. And what we want are policies to help out our black veterans, and we want an end to things like these oppressive policies, like these jab mandates that keep black men and women from being able to work across this country. And we also want other tangibles as related to policies that keep black people from being able to build our communities, like dealing with all of this discrimination in the job market and discrimination that keeps black people from owning homes and businesses. There's a whole list as related to the black agenda, and that's what we want in exchange for our votes, and we're not getting any sort of tangibles. And again, if you're going to disrespect the black voter, then the black voter needs to stay home until they get their demands met. And what we really need to start to do is really start to learn the political process and stop picking candidates like Joker Joe Biden, because when you understand the political process, you don't go out here and go to a candidate like a Joker Joe Biden who is bought and paid for by white supremacy. No, you go out here, you pick your own candidates on the local level with your agenda, and you send them to Washington, you send them to the State House, you send them to City Hall with your agenda, and they bring the tangibles back to you. And they're going to bring the tangibles back to you because you picked them and they are accountable to you. This is a lesson I learned from the late, great David Carroll, that you have to pick your own candidates, because that's what every other community out here does. You have to pick your own candidates, because that is the road to getting tangibles, because the only thing you're going to get from guys like a Joker Joe Biden is the runaround, and they're only going to give you the runaround because they don't respect you as a community, they don't respect you as a race, and they keep putting you at the back burner because they don't regard you. And again, this is the ultimate form of disrespect when a third group of non-citizens is allowed an opportunity to come into the United States, get resources tangible from our government, and then they will take those tangible resources, come to our black community, and they will open up shops and businesses in our community. Meanwhile, they will take the money that they were given to start their new lives and open up homes in the suburbs and then build wealth on the black dollar. That is the ultimate form of disrespect done to foundational black Americans, and that disrespect is something we need to deal with by taking our respect, by valuing and controlling our dollar, and also valuing and controlling our votes. Because again, if we don't pick the candidates to give us the tangibles, then we have no road to getting tangibles for our vote, and we cannot go out here and support these candidates that are out here who go out here and give tangibles to non-citizens instead of us. And we really need to understand that these types of disrespect need to be dealt with as a collective, because what is being done here to foundational black Americans, with 100,000 Ukrainians allowed to jump in the line in front of black people, this is an insult to foundational black Americans who, again, in early 2020, your Joe Biden was running around desperate, telling us, oh, these foundational black Americans need to exercise their constitutional right to go out here and vote because they need to save democracy. Well, the democracy isn't making an effort to support those foundational black Americans right after the election. And again, that is a disrespect to all of these foundational black American brothers and sisters out here, that the government that was so desperate for you to vote for them before November 2020, in December 2020, told you couldn't do anything for you. And that, again, is an expression of contempt that needs to be dealt with by black Americans doing what they did in 2021 by staying home. Because if these politicians don't want to give you tangibles in exchange for your vote and can't find money for you, then you shouldn't find the time to vote for them. Because your Joe Biden could say, oh, I can't find any money for foundational black Americans after the election, but he could find $14 billion to send to Ukraine to fight a war out of nowhere, and he could go out here and find $200 million to give them weapons, and he could find another couple of $1 billion to go out here and give 100,000 Ukrainians a new life here in America, but he cannot find a couple of $100,000 to go out here and help one foundational black American man get back on his feet as related to jobs, and he cannot find any sort of money to cut a check for reparations for all of the oppression black foundational black Americans have suffered as related to slavery, as related to Jim Crow and the terrorism of the Ku Klux Klan, as related to current and ongoing discrimination that heterosexual black men have endured. He can't find billions of dollars to cut a check for foundational black Americans, but they can make money come up out of thin air, and Congress can come out almost immediately with billions of dollars for your Afghans, for your Mexicans, for your Ukrainians. Any other group gets pushed in the front of the line in front of foundational black Americans, and we as foundational black Americans have to start standing up and saying what Professor Black Truth and many others have said: no tangibles, no black vote, no black agenda, no black vote. And if you cannot go out here and give us something in exchange for our vote, then most black people have no problem staying home and letting another red tsunami consume Washington and the state houses in 2022. Now, if you want me to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find those books in the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Smith-Storella trilogy on Amazon.com and other online booksellers. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
You think you've seen scares? Get ready for the horror of the hyena woman.